In Glasgow, life expectancy ranges from the ripe old age of 82 to a scandalous 54. 54, that's lower than in India. Here in Birmingham, a child can expect to live to 75, but up the road in Bromsgrove, that rises to nearer 80. And this from the party, Labour, that parrots the slogans of social justice and fairness. And on top of this, they have dithered over this question of caring for an elderly population for 11 crucial years. Tony Blair said in 1997, "I don't want my children growing up in a country where older people have to sell their homes to fund their long-term care." Yet Labour have done so little that the Care Minister, Ivan Lewis, recently claimed it was a problem that they had belatedly recognised. I have news for Gordon Brown. Leading Britain into the credit crunch with the largest budget deficit in the industrial world is not fixing the roof while the sun shines. Likewise, ignoring the ageing population through those years has seen the government literally take the roof from over the heads of our parents and grandparents. And what else does this dithering mean? It means that up and down the country, countless older people are finding the care services provided by councils are being withdrawn. It means that older people needing help at home have to answer up to 700 questions on 6 different forms for 8 different bodies before they can get the assistance they need. It means that the dignity that was second nature to my mother's generation of nurses, and she is one, is too often elusive. It means that parents and grandparents who had hoped to pass something on to their children find those hopes dashed. Today, because of Labour's inaction in the face of rising demand, we are stuck with a system in desperate need of reform. But let us not forget that it is more than a system. Here we are talking about people's lives and their homes. And they rightly reject as plain wrong the assertion that because they made sacrifices and did the right thing, they are now to be punished by the taking away from them of the house that with years of love became their home. They deserve better, and with the next Conservative government, they will have better. So let me now be very clear about what we propose to do and the commitments we are making and have made. I have already talked of our debt to the work of unpaid carers, and I am proud that David Cameron has put respite care and flexible working as key aims of a Conservative government. So often, it is medication that can make the difference in allowing people to grow old with dignity, particularly with diseases such as Alzheimer's. So I can tell Terry Pratchett that a Conservative government will ensure that funding for Alzheimer's research is given far greater priority within the NHS and medical research funding. NICE has had some very bad press over the summer. I will go out on a limb and say we support the idea of NICE. Without it, ministers will be making the decisions about which drugs to allow. And we have all had enough of the government using our NHS as a political football. But NICE should take into account all the facts about the impact of a drug on the individual and on those around them where appropriate, what we have called the wider societal costs. And that is why we're calling for a move to value-based pricing, where drug companies are not paid according to some backroom deal, but according to the therapeutic benefit of their drugs. NICE's focus should not be denying access to drugs. It should be finding ways of enabling those drugs to be made available on the NHS. But of course, today, I don't stand before you with all the answers. With the state Labour are putting our public finances in and the current economic crisis, you wouldn't expect me to do so. What I am doing is assuring you that Conservatives are grappling positively with the issue of caring for our elderly population. We have made clear and important commitments, but there is more to do. Let us not underestimate the size of the problem. We are looking at a £30 billion gross cost by 2026. That is not the cost to the taxpayer, but it is the cost that must be met through a fair allocation between the taxpayer, responsible thrifty individuals, local authorities, financial services, and informal care. That partnership is already in operation, but it is important to strike the right balance. Unpaid family carers are taking on more than they can manage. Local authorities, their budgets squeezed by unfunded demands from government and Gordon Brown's NHS cuts, are cutting back the support they provide. Financial services, for the most part, find the catastrophic risk associated with long-term care, particularly nursing care, too hot to handle. We need a system for long-term care which brings clarity, security, and dignity. We need a system which both protects the most vulnerable and doesn't unfairly penalise those who have worked hard and been able to save. This will only be found in a new partnership between the individual, the community, and the state, which provides effective and affordable funding, enables personal responsibility, creates a care market that works, and so delivers the core objective: dignity, great care, and financial security in old age. Ladies and gentlemen, we often talk about our desire to give children the best start in life, and that's right. But after a lifetime of contributing, volunteering, working, sacrificing, and giving, it is right that today's elderly generation enjoys the best as well. And as Ronald Reagan began what he described as the journey that will take me into the sunset of my life, his thoughts were for his beloved wife, Nancy. He spoke of the heavy burden the family often bears. There are thousands I know who would echo him when he said, "I only wish there was some way I could spare Nancy from this painful experience." I'm proud of the country that this elderly generation has bequeathed to mine. And I'm determined that we will pass on a country to the next generation that treats its elderly with greater dignity and more respect. I'm not in politics to be someone, I'm in it to do something. And I'm in it to give voice to those who have not voiced themselves. It is Conservatives who can open our platform to people from all walks of life, while Labour hunkers down with its comrades. It is Conservatives who recognise the real needs of older people, the pride they have in their homes, the hopes they have for their children, and the dignity they want in their care. It is Conservatives who recognise the debt this nation owes to those who have built this country up from the ashes of war. Let us now resolve to get David Cameron into number 10 so that we can, in government, repay that debt to the generation which we owe so much to. Thank you.